Broadcasting live.
Listen live online 24/7.
24/7. Around the world.
Right here. Right now.
It's 300 Radio.
And you know this, man.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Scott Free Morning Show. I am your gracious host himself, L. Scott. You can call me Scott Free if you like. Just call me. How's everybody doing today? It is a brisk, I ain't gonna say brisk, it's a rainy, gloomy, ugly Monday morning here in the greater Los Angeles. I said Los Angeles. I just left Los Angeles recently. The greater Atlanta area. I don't want to waste anybody's time today. I honestly, to be honest with you, this morning has been pretty hectic. I've been ripping and running all morning. I had to get my car out the shop that was in there, which I would employ anyone. If you ever think about buying a luxury vehicle, don't get a Jaguar. Please don't get a Jaguar. These things are hella expensive for no apparent reason. Let me just say that. But anyways, I'm not going to hold you guys up. Ms. Levy is with us today. So I'm going to just try to go ahead and dive into what she got going on and go from there. I don't think I'm going to have a very long today, so let's just make sure we make it efficient and let's make sure we make it worth our while today. But anyways, let's dive into it.
It's time for the Chill Report.
It's about to go down.
Oh my goodness. This is my favorite part of the show. It's called the Chill Report. Oh, I love it. But the guy who gives the news, they hate to give the news.
Really? For once in your life, just do the fucking news. All right? No. I'm gonna do the fucking news. No. Here is the fucking news.
All right. So like I said, we are not going to waste any time today. We're going to dive right into this thing. Where is she at? Let's get Miss Levy called up. Let's get her called. Let's see what's popping with her today. Come on now. There she goes. Let's get this down, son.
Hello?
Hello. I'm a little late today, but are you good?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm good. It's been one morning. I am not gonna lie to you. I'm late because I told you I had to get my car at the shop, but instead of taking my other car, I decided to just Uber over there to do it. And how you ever had an Uber not take you to the direction where you're supposed to go? Have you ever had that happen?
No.
This is the first time I've heard people talk about this before, but let me just tell you real quick, then we can move on. So I'm heading over to the place. This road that it's on has a southeast and a northeast. So what happened is I got the northeast and the southeast wrong. The guy in the Uber pretty much told me, yeah, I'm just going to let you out this light.
Wait
Now,
and you mean
go ahead.
Uber that didn't take you where you were supposed to take?
No, he hits me. I'm in the back seat. I have my headphones in because I don't like talking to Uber drivers. And he basically hits me. He said, "Hey, what's the address? What's the actual location you're looking for? Because it's coming up." And I was like, "Nah, this ain't it. It doesn't look like where I dropped the car off at." And he was like, "Nah, this is where it says I got other rides to get, so I'm gonna have to just drop you off here then." I was like, so we got into a full-out argument this morning. I'm like, you're not dropping me anywhere. We're going to go to where we're going. What are you talking about? He tells me, then he proceeds to tell me, but I've already took it on another ride. I was like, well, they're going to have to wait because I'm not getting out of the random stoplight. So he was pissed. We got into it the whole night. But I got to where I was going.
Well,
Anyway.
I hope you given a very, very bad review.
I did. I very much did. But let me tell you real quick before I tell you that. So a couple of weeks ago, I was using Instacart, and this guy basically didn't want to. I was going to Costco, and he didn't really want to get everything on the list. So he basically tells me, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that one for you, so you can go ahead and cancel it. This is what he says. And I was like, no, I'm not canceling it unless there's a problem, because if I cancel it, then I'm not going to get my money back. And he was like, well, I'm not doing it. And I was like, well, you're going to do it. And then he got real popping. I was like, all right, Mr. Sassy. I call him Sassy, right? And he says to me, you may want to chill out. I have your address. Oh, why did he tell me that? I was like, oh, you better use it then. I was like, come on, please come to the house and use that. Needless to say, he never came. Let's just say that. So.
Wow. Did you get your stuff?
Mm-hmm. I got my stuff. It wasn't from him, but I ended up getting my stuff. But he was not going to threaten me. Come on, bring your ass on. People, I would tell people, don't do that when you do not know who you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyways, how was your weekend?
Pretty boring, but I like it like that. I am a true diehard homebody. Give me good food, good movie, and I'm straight.
Well, I did watch. What did I watch over the weekend? I watched because I got my hair rebraided. When I did it, I watched. You ever watched Temptation? Was it Temptation Island? Yeah, I watched Temptation Island over the weekend while I was getting my hair braided, and it was.
I've never watched the show, but I've seen clips.
It's crazy,
and I don't understand it. I don't understand why people like. Do these people know that they're getting caught cheating? Like they know they're going to be exposed?
Well, I think what happens is that, and this is the craziest thing, people go on this show and they always give the same excuse. I'm coming on here to strengthen my relationship. And I'll be like, you do know if you putting another person in the mix and y'all having trouble, that's more trouble. That's not going to fix it. So it ended up, it was a big mess. That was a big mess, which was all over the place, which I think every man came on the show ready to cheat. And then I turned around and I watched, there was another one on that was on Netflix. What's another one? Was it Too Hot to Handle? I think it is. Where something like that. I don't know if you ever seen that one.
Is that a TV show or a movie?
It was reality show. I don't get into it. But anyway, I was going to say the only other thing I watched, and it's actually what I wanted to kind of talk about leading into. I had a couple of different topics, but I'm gonna keep it because I know what you're going through, everything, your days and everything, and I want to make sure that we keep it kind of light. And so I want to tell you, I did catch Damon Wayans on Shannon's podcast. I caught half the interview. Did you catch any of that?
I caught some of it, and
okay.
It was very, to me, one of his better interviews.
It is. It was an amazing interview. What made it amazing to me for Damon is, first and foremost, for the viewing audience, I am a big Damon Wayans fan. He is my favorite Wayans out of all of them. I think he's the most talented out of all of them. But I think what made the interview so special for me was that it's always good to get the people that you admired when you were a child coming up, and then they give you insight to things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That were going on. It was an amazing interview. And I could just definitely tell you that I would love to interview him. It would be an amazing interview to do. It just ask him a bunch of questions and just let him go. But it was good. I really, really did. But I was going to go ahead.
He's more insightful and wise, which I shouldn't be shocked at. I mean, the man is, up there in age.
He's 65 now. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But
he's lived life. But, yeah, it was a great mixture of what you said as far as learning things that you didn't already know, mixed with his comedy, mixed with serious
his upbringing. Really, you got more insight into, because like when I did stand up, Damon was one of the people that I studied. A lot of people don't realize Damon was a beast at stand up, one of the greatest in my opinion. But he stopped so early. I don't believe a lot of people realize how great he was. And then he gave a lot of insight to a lot of his jokes. This is what I've learned from Damon, and it fits in with every artist that you've ever heard. When they come from a level of pain, they turn it into something, and their upbringing was tough, but it was their comedy came out of it, and it was amazing to listen to it. But I brought it up for a reason. I wanted to ask you something. So listening to him talk got me thinking about Harlem Nights, and I know it's kind of unrelated, but he did a lot of talking about Eddie Murphy. And I wanted to ask you, if they had to recreate Harlem Nights with some of the comedians that came after that era, who would you pick and who would you put in each role? Like, who would you put in Della Reese's role? Who would you put in Eddie's role? Who would you put in Richard's role? Because that's what I wanted to say.
Well, as far as Della Reese's role, I think
I already know who I'm picking.
Who would you pick?
I know I'm picking for Della Reese's role out the gate. All day.
Oh, me too. You didn't hear me. I said Miss Pat. I would pick.
Oh, no, I'm not picking Miss Pat. No, not Miss Pat. No. I know who I'm getting. No, I'm getting Monique for that role. Monique is that role. Definitely. All day.
Monique? Well, yeah, okay. I can see that.
The way Della played that role, I can see Monique taking it and making it her own, but not straying too far from the character.
But you know what? I think I'm gonna say this. I think either or would do the role justice. But I get what you're saying. because Monique is more of a seasoned. These were seasoned comedians.
Yeah.
That were in there. So Miss Pat's not as seasoned a comedian as Monique is. So I see what you're saying.
I would pick her. And you know what? I was thinking about it earlier and I was going to give you my list, but I got stuck right after. That was the first one I gave. For some reason, when I thought of Della, I said, oh, instantly, that's Monique. But then I started thinking about, of course, Quick Eddie's role. And I was like, there is nobody out there that could play it. I don't believe.
I was going to say, really, I hate to say it, but comedy is becoming a dying breed.
It is. Why is that though? Because I think it is because they hand picking people.
I think it's because everybody gets offended over everything.
I agree.
And with the cancel culture, and some of them are so terrified to say anything that it is totally, like kind of handcuffed them a little bit.
It is handcuffing. Well, I'll tell you this much after listening to Damon. So Damon did a lot of talking about his upbringing, the jobs he had, things like that, right? And in the middle of it, it made a lot of sense to me what happened. So 1982, he said the last time he got arrested, guess what he was doing? He stole credit cards. You and me both know we love Mo Money. What was they doing in that movie?
Stealing credit cards.
So he talked about, it was another thing that he did, working in the mailroom, right? He said he worked in the mailroom at one point. Me and you love Blank Man. What did he do in there with him and David Alan Grier?
Worked in the mailroom.
So what I've learned, what they've done,
he used his real life.
Yeah, and I think what you're getting today is, I think the problem what you're missing today is, I think Hollywood has handcuffed everybody to the point where they pretty much told you, we're going to handpick everyone. No one's going to come out and just be successful unless we deem them to be successful. And I think that's the difference, because he talked about one other thing. I'm going to say this. He talked about Major Payne, right? And he talked about, because Shannon pretty much asked him, how did he come up with the character for the role? And he basically said, I didn't know who Major Payne was going to be until we said action. He said, I pulled from two different people and I didn't know. And that got me to thinking, now, in Hollywood today, they're not going to put millions of dollars behind somebody, make a whole movie, and they don't even know what he's going to do. They would never do that now. So I believe that's the thing that's killing Hollywood. Is that's what happened. That's why I think that you can't have anybody play his role. There's nobody, not a stand-up comedian that could play it.
Well,
in my opinion,
just like you said, they're dying out. And I'll say this: I can see Eddie playing. Eddie Murphy playing Richard Pryor's character. Yeah.
I put somebody else there. Who did I put? Well, I did say that. I did say that too. I said I would just put Eddie to play Richard. The problem is with Eddie's role is this, because I don't mind Eddie, because Eddie was in his late 20s, I think, when he did Harlem Nights, or early 30s. So late 20s, early 30s. There is no comedian out there that has an attractive look and who's just funny like Eddie was. It doesn't happen today. And then I think about people like Ryan Davis. You know what I'm talking about, comedian Ryan Davis?
No.
Ryan Davis is a very funny comedian. And I believe if he came along in the 90s, you would know who he is already. But the problem with it is he's a very intellectual when it comes to it. He doesn't have a great look. But when I say back in the 90s, it didn't really matter. Chris Rock was ugly as hell. You know what I'm saying? Bernie wasn't the most attractive guy. So Ryan Davis would have been special, I believe. And like for him, what's so messed up, and I'll give you a quick story about him. He said recently he pitched his hour special he did to Netflix. Netflix pretty much told him, nah, not our type of work, but we have a festival that we do. You could do the festival, right? So Ryan Davis was like, I'm not sure. Why did they not like my stand-up? They said they watched it. They just said it wasn't for them. But then he did the Netflix special that they did where they put a bunch of comics on there. He said, I did the jokes from my special, and they loved it. And then he was like, so you didn't even watch it, is what you're telling me. And so I know now that they're handpicking people. That's the reason they didn't want Monique stand up. That's the reason why they picked that white girl at that time and paid her over the amount of money. I can't think of her name right now. They just handpick everybody. They don't want stars anymore. They want the people who they pick.
Amy Schumer,
that's it. I don't really care for him. But yeah, that's the only thing I was going to say to that. I thought it was an amazing interview. I definitely think that Shannon, and I know everybody else liked it because I always look at the viewership from Shannon's following. And he actually kind of proves my point. That Casanat guy was on there recently, and I looked at that Casanat. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, the streamer.
Yeah, so I looked at his. I think he had that Ice Speed guy on there. And when I looked at those guys' numbers, these guys have all these numbers, all these followings that they're doing. But when they're in our community, I can tell our community don't watch them because Shannon's numbers are not as high as they should be for those people. I think Country Wayne has done better numbers than they did.
What I think it is, I think it's more of an age thing. Shannon Sharp's, his demographic is not these little young kids who are into those streamer, the academics and the show speeds and all that. I think Shannon has a more mature audience, and they're not really into that stuff. Because I know I'm not.
Me either.
If I did not see them on like blogs, I wouldn't have never known who they were.
Me either, and but what bothers me about him though, because like I caught an interview with Kevin Hart recently, and again, I was the biggest Kevin fan, but he made reference to, he was basically, I think he was on the Breakfast Club, and he was talking about the importance of doing business with other people coming up, and how he just wanted to support them. And I hate to say this because I don't like to come for him, but I think that was so disingenuous when he said it, because I know that you're with Casanat doing streaming with him to keep your own self relevant, not for him. Oh, yeah. He don't need you at this point. You need him at this point. And I know that to be true about Kevin too. Nah, because I know this to be true about Kevin too, because he don't bring up anybody black behind him. He don't. He doesn't.
What about the paper cup boys?
Talking about the plastic cup boys? You mean the guys who don't get in none of his movies? Is that who you're talking about?
Oh, that is true, ain't it? Wow.
See, think about Damon. Think about the interview with Damon. I didn't catch the whole thing, but I think about it like this. And of course, I've been in the stand-up, so I knew a lot of this stuff before Damon. But you got to remember, Eddie put on Keenan, basically Damon, basically Chris Rock, Robert Townsend, and the list goes on and on. He picked these people. Damon told the story of how he got to do the banana in the tailpipe scene with Eddie. That wasn't written into the movie. That wasn't. Eddie wanted Damon in the movie. Did you know this? I'll give you something. Guess who was supposed to play Surge? Who wanted Surge? He was supposed to play Surge, Damon Wayans.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he said he wanted to play. Eddie wanted Damon to play Surge and play the character that he played pretty much, gave him the bananas, but the studio didn't want Damon. So he was like, so as a constellation for Damon, he forced that scene into the movie. You get what I'm saying?
Well, what do you feel about the fact that Eddie wasn't as supportive of Charlie Murphy as he could have been?
You don't think so?
I cannot tell you which comic was doing an interview, but it was a big name comic, and I have to go back and check it out. But this was after Charlie Murphy had passed.
Right.
And Charlie, and the way he told the story was Charlie Murphy was asking Eddie for tips on stand-up. And back in the day, and not too far back in the day, but back in the day, and Eddie was like, "Ain't that time? You figure it out. You know, you got this. You'll figure it out. Whatever." And then they said, guess who they said pulled up to Charlie and worked with Charlie Murphy on his stand-up and mentored Charlie Murphy?
Who?
Martin Lawrence.
I can see that, and I think Martin has helped out a lot of people. So I didn't say nothing to him. I never heard that about Charlie and Eddie, but it makes sense. The only time I ever see them do anything together was Harlem Nights, and he didn't even have any speaking lines in the movie.
Did not have one speaking role.
Well,
and as talented as we grew to understand Charlie Murphy to be, we know how some siblings, don't have a hard time seeing their other sibling shine.
Oh yeah, because I was talking. Yeah, because I was definitely, I know about Chris Rock, and I think Chris don't even realize he had already rubbed me wrong with a lot of things he's done and said over the last few years, but he made it even worse. And I'm gonna tell you what put the nail in the coffin for me was Tony Rock, his brother. When Tony basically describes what happens with that top 5 and how his brother has never really gave him any help with any right. And he was like, I didn't ask for any. I wanted to earn it, but it still hurts when your brother basically makes it sound like he's ready to look out and then doesn't look out for you. And the only thing I'll say about Tony that I find disrespectful for Tony Rock, and it's just my own personal opinion, your brother who refused to help you get on at any right, you want to defend to the death against a man who slapped the shit out of him, who helped you out. Remember, Will helped you out when your own brother wouldn't do it. So for me, I would just stay neutral in that situation.
Okay. I was going to say that. I would have just, and he came real hard, but honestly,
he still goes hard.
But you know what? I think that's somewhat of what you were saying in regards to Kevin Hart. Like, I think that people want to interview him because they want to know what he think about it, and they still want to talk about it and the slap and did Chris ever talk to Will, and so I think he kind of uses that to try to get him a little clout. You know what I'm saying?
You talking about Tony?
Yeah. I'm not saying in the beginning. I'm not saying in the beginning. I'm just saying that after it all went down, and he could, like you just said, he could have just stayed neutral. Look, he was wrong for what he did to my brother. I don't appreciate, but he talking about how he want to.
He gonna put his hand on Chris. He gonna put his hand on Will. Is what he gonna do. And Will beat that man ass. Stop playing with that man. That man boxed and he twice your size. He'll beat your ass, Tony. Stop playing. But I will say that. I'll say this though. It tells you a lot about, and I said this to you before, and I know we don't never dive into this, but what it really boils down to, they're not prioritizing, again, Black America when it comes to the entertainment business anymore. So what you're getting is a different mindset. The reason why you've heard people speak highly of Bill Cosby putting people on, Richard Pryor putting people on, Eddie putting people on, the Wayans family putting people on. Now, fast forward to today. You notice only really the guys that been doing it since the 90s are the only ones still looking out for people. Martin still looks out for comedians. Cat still looks out for comedians. You see what I'm saying? But the new guys that are coming up, a lot of them are foreign, and they just don't really connect with the culture. And it's not the same thing anymore. You don't get stand-up the same. And it's a different business to me.
Yeah, like in my opinion. It feels like a dying art.
Yeah,
and it's unfortunate, and there's only one comedian trying to keep it alive.
You know, Dave.
Well, I wasn't trying to keep it alive, but is keeping it alive. Dave Chappelle.
You know what?
Have the I don't give a damn mentality that Dave Chappelle has in order to be still an effective comedian.
No, go ahead. I'm with you. I hear you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and you just don't have that anymore right now. So everybody's scared.
I think Kevin said some of one of his latest stand-ups that is a telltale sign for why he moves the way he moves. To the point you just made, Kevin has this thing where I can tell he has this joke that he tells about being the only Black person going to Aspen, and that's how he likes it. And I remember when he told the joke, I was like, that's a Jerry Seinfeld joke. And I was like, people don't want to hear those types of jokes from you. It's like you're so out of touch when it comes to it. And he's really out of touch. No, that was Kevin Hart. Kevin's out of touch. And he made that statement. Then he made a statement one time that he said he stays away from political subjects. And I was like, that's your problem. The world is full of politicalness. And if you can't even touch it in your comedy, you've already done yourself a disservice. And see, Dave pretty much says, I don't give a fuck. You're going to get mad, you're going to get mad. It just is what it is. And I love that about him.
Well, Kevin Hart is still in the mindset of I kind of like Will. I gotta please my base and all that, but
who's your base? That's the question. Because I think what people don't realize is, especially if you're a Black American person in the entertainment business, whether you realize it or not, the only success you're going to have 9 times out of 10, you have to have Black people as your base. If Black people don't support you, I don't mean we have to be the only people to support you. What I mean is, but we have to co-sign you before white America will do something with you. Like Kevin. Kevin did Soul Play and all that other stuff. You do know that he didn't make any money until he, after Grown Little Man, getting to think like a man. That's when Kevin's celebrity took off, because now Black people are co-signing you. Dave, the same thing. Dave used to do comedy in the 90s, but Dave's comedy was a little more middle of the road, but then it evolved, and then he ended up getting a black base after the Chappelle show. And I don't think enough people understand you have to have a base. Kevin wants white people to be his base now, and white people are going to look at black people and say, do y'all still fuck with this nigga? And they don't mess with you, we don't mess with you. That's what I believe.
Well, I agree with half, disagree with the other half. I agree if black people think it's cool or hot or hip or whatever you want to call it, the white base will follow, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then what happens is once the white base follows, black actors and comedians, they act like they don't have to concern themselves with the black community anymore because they done got over. And
they left their base.
Once they're there, they're there. You know, once they're there, they're there. Until they get into some kind of legal trouble, like OJ, and then they're gonna want to try to come back.
But the problem with having that mindset is this. Like, let's just take Kevin for an example. So Kevin rocking with niggas, we coming out everything. Kevin's number one at the box office. Now you're doing comedy about Aspen. Now you don't tell jokes that black folks can relate to. Now you're talking about how you a boss and a celebrity and all of this other stuff, and you're a businessman and you're not really dealing with the culture anymore. You see Kevin's celebrity has fallen off now. I hate to tell him he's not going to be number one in the box office no more.
Well, I don't think it's falling off because of that. I feel like it's falling off because he oversaturated himself. People
I agree with that too.
And tired. People just got sick and tired, and it happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to pull back. Like The Rock, he had like 2 or 3 bombs back to back, and he oversaturated himself.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Back, you know what I'm saying? He pulled himself back. He's like, okay, let me.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so that's what I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll see, but.
I agree. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna say because I agree with that. The only thing I was gonna add on to that is that I totally agree that you can't oversaturate yourself, but I think you mess up too when you become the person you think we want to see. Kevin used to do interviews very flawless, like Damon. Damon was entertaining. Jamie's the master of interviews. He's entertaining, but he never performs. He's just being himself. I think Kevin performs in his interviews now, so it comes off phony. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah, I can see that.
Quick question, though. I got a question for you because I know I ain't going to have you long today. So I'm not going to hold you up much long, but I do got a question for you. Okay, this is a serious one.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Did you go to the protest over the weekend with the white folks?
Oh, my God.
They didn't even cover it. Nobody even talked about it.
No, I saw quite a bit of it.
What did you see?
Again, it was on social media, but
what did you see? What did you see?
I saw several. Protests around the country. Thousands and thousands of people.
Mm-hmm. Now, where was he protest that you saw at? Do you remember any of the locations?
New York.
Tell the Central. But go ahead. That's foreign
Boston,
Central. White Central.
Boston. I'm confused. What? So you're trying to point out that there were white people that were protesting?
Nah, I'm picking, and it's, you don't know why I'm going with it, but I'll tell you the reason why I'm picking is two. I'm picking for 2 reasons. I picked because of this. It's funny that everybody tells Black America that something's wrong with us, that we're not good, that we're bad, that no one pays attention to us, we whine too much, the whole thing. But it's funny that every time people feel aggrieved, they try to have the behaviors that Black people have. So you're in the street protesting with your 401ks and with your retirement plans because you're mad about this guy. And the reason why I say it didn't have any energy to it is because no one sees them as being oppressed. That's why nobody covered it. So you got a bunch of whiny ass people out here who ain't doing nothing. They're going to go right back to work tomorrow and they just whining. And the only reason I'm picking is I've been watching people do, they're on boots on the ground that's interviewing some of the people. You know, I saw interview after interview after interview with people that were out there that didn't even know why they were out there. they had Trump's a fascist, and then it was like, what makes him fascist? I don't know. The person gave me the sign. I don't know, but he's.
So if they didn't cover it, where did you see all this footage from?
I'm like you. I'm on social media. I go looking for things on purpose.
Why,
just like you.
Why do you think they were out there then?
I honestly don't. I don't think white people even. I think that this is what I believe. Honestly, this is exactly what I believe. But I have to back it up a second. When Trump beat Hillary Clinton, and it happened, I remember white women were stumping the drum for Hillary going in. And then after they lost, you remember white women, like the next day, they did like an all women's march against Trump. You remember that?
Yes.
And do you remember when you found out that almost 50 to 60% of white women voted for Trump? And you was like, so why y'all bitches out here whining and talking about y'all don't like him when you voted for him? I believe it's all just a play. So if you understand white supremacy, it plays both sides of the fence. They're not upset at Trump. Trump is doing whatever white people like them to do. I don't believe that to even be a thing. And it's not going to go anywhere. That protest was not a protest.
You don't think that these tariffs that is tearing up the global economy, making people lose thousands of dollars in their retirement funds, is not effect and losing, that's them. And then you're talking about people who, federal employees, thousands and thousands of federal employees, two of which I know who lost their job was taken from them. So you don't think none of these policies that have been implemented is not affecting white America?
No, what I'm saying to you is this. Whenever they do anything, they're going to prioritize white people over it. Trump's doing nothing no more different than anywhere else. And I'll give you an example of what I mean with these tariffs. Everybody's up in arms because he's basically putting a harder tax on all goods coming in. Do people realize they tax us that hard going out already? Nobody ever talks about that. We're getting taxed. He's matching the tax that's going out coming in. And people say he's wrong for that.
That's the lie he's portraying.
Okay, you say the lie. That's one. I would ask for proof. And then the second thing I'll say this too. If we're so upset about tariffs and now we're upset about them, you know the biggest one that's on the book right there that nobody even talks about? That would have majority of this country with the level of wealth that we don't have now, that we don't. It's something we pay for every day, every year, that is the biggest one of them all, and no one ever talks about removing that. And that's the IRS. The IRS is an entity was only supposed to have been short-lived for a very short period of time. Do you know they've taken so much money from us? I'll back it up and say it this way. Before they made the IRS, the fastest way for an American to make a fortune or money for themselves to build any type of wealth was through their income. I did my own math recently. I've lost like $300,000-$400,000 to taxes alone that really doesn't support anything in this government. They don't pay anything with those IRS money. They're just literally taking money from us. And that is the biggest one. If they want us to have wealth in this country, then they would take the IRS away and stop worrying about tariffs that's going across the world. That's all I'm saying.
What I'm saying to you is, you need to have you researched and listened to some of the economists, and I don't mean just American economists. I mean global economists.
I hear them on both sides.
I don't understand how tariff ain't nothing but an additional tax on us. So how is that going to benefit us?
Well, this is what I'm saying.
And people are talking about, Trump is talking about, well, we need to have buy American cars. Well, sir, there's no we are a tech economy. We are technology. We are not a manufacturing economy anymore. Everything is outsourced. Everybody, and you never hear, there is no song and dance when everybody's saying the same thing.
I don't think everybody's saying the same thing, though. I don't. And I don't think, but see, I think what we're doing, though, and I think me and you do this a lot when the Republicans get in office, we actually start getting down to the numbers. And what I'm saying is that we're worried about tariffs now. When I'm watching the Doge ticker to this day, we've lost billions of dollars in 4 years, and no one cares. So now everybody wants to be mad.
Guess what? But the problem, but just because that was the past, we lost, according to what I read, trillions of dollars in 2 days.
Well, You're talking about the stock market. You're talking about the stock market.
Listen,
But
hey, let me tell you
yes.
something. Let me tell you something. You cannot make me believe. Yes, I saw multiple protests. I saw thousands of people out in the street, and I saw them, and they're not out there because they like, oh, I think it would be cool to go out here and I don't know what. No, he is destroying the global economy.
Okay,
and there's
so
no two ways about that.
So let me ask you this question. Let me literally truly ask you this question. We've talked about this a million times about, you said you don't think he's just a regular Republican. MAGA's different, right? And I mean, we got to talk.
You have we have the same notion for the past umpteen years, hundreds of years, probably from the inception of this country, where there's been a song and a dance. Since they've created the government, right? There's always a song and dance. But you will not leave room for the possibility that anybody can go rogue from the system.
I believe that. I believe that can
feel
happen.
Like we are dealing with some rogue individuals who are not concerned about the machine, and this is what we're seeing. And that is why everybody is globally panicking. Go ahead.
But this is my problem with it. And I always had this problem. And it always sounds like I'm defending Trump because I'm not defending him. What I'm saying is, I know it does. It's because my thing is just I'm an equal opportunity giver. And so what I'm saying is that what it is right here. Okay, this is no more different than the housing crisis of 2008. This is no more different than why COVID decided they were going to punch us in the mouth. And now we have utility bills that are ridiculous. The gas prices, food price, the whole nine, and nobody's trying to change it. What it is, all this is a plan. Look, by 2030, I saw it again recently. They have a project on the books that says by 2030, we will own nothing, talking about real estate, and be happy about it. And by 2050, Black America will be at zero wealth. That means somebody's planning for this, is all that I'm saying. So how are you going to get to zero wealth at 2050? How are you going to get to nobody owning land by 2030? We're going to have to break you. So they're breaking us right now. They're breaking us. But
everybody.
But listen. But hear what I'm saying. I agree. But what I'm saying to you is this. They've been breaking us before 2025. I'm only seeing but everyone's only seeming to be stressed now. When I'm saying is, in 4 years, take 4 years from now, if they get a Democrat bad in office, what you're going to see, these very same people who are crazily up in arms about Trump are going to relax. And they're not going to act like it's happening again. And it's going to be all a part of it. They are part of it, just like the Republicans are part of it. This is a plan. That's all that I'm saying. And you're watching the plan come into play.
All I'm saying to you is you could be correct. I'm not saying that you could not be correct. What I'm saying to you is that does not mean you're still not giving space for the possibility that what is happening now, you've made the determination that all that's going on now is business as usual. And yes, it's similar to other things that have happened in the past. But matter of fact, the last tariffs like this, do you know when the last they implemented these type of tariffs? What period in this country it was?
Hit me with it. Probably the 1920s, 1930s, right around in there. How did I know that? How did I know that?
Let me say this to you.
Go ahead.
You said people always are implying that you are a Trump supporter or whatever that is.
Right. Well, nobody calls me that, but go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought you said that.
Well, I was just saying I sound like one when I'm talking to you because I'm always sound like I'm not supporting. I'm just saying they all do it. But go ahead.
You want to know why? Because how do I put this? If everybody is in on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only time you yell fire is when Democrats are in office.
No.
Republicans are in office. It's like, well, I mean, it's just a plan. You know,
the reason
it just don't give the same energy. Like,
okay,
we have had several conversations during the Biden administration about how angry you were about things that were going on during the Biden administration. But then when Trump comes in office, I've heard you downplay a lot of the things that has been implemented. It's like, oh, you know, ain't no different. Yeah, and all I'm saying is, if you have to have the same energy across the board.
Here's my thing. This is why my energy feels different to you, and I get it, and I see why you see it that way. But my energy feels different to you because of it's going to be this. I think we always discuss this. They are the same bird, just two different wings on the bird. But what I've learned is this. With the Democrats, what's different is this. It seems to be with their policies and their behaviors and actions, it is solely 100% solely focused on shitting on Black America. And then I feel like when the Republicans get in office, they spread it to everyone, including us, and it's spread it around. But the reason why my energy drops when it comes to that is like having contractions for a woman who's pregnant. She knows she's in the middle of having contractions, but every so few minutes it eases up. When the Republican gets in, it kind of eases up, but I'm still in hell right now. And all I'm saying is for us as Black America is that it is not specifically attacking us at the moment. But I watch Black America, especially when it comes to the Black media, they're basically now saying, oh my God, the house is on fire now, just in the last 3 months. And I'm saying that's disingenuous. All of them are bad. Trump's no different than Biden. They're both fucking racist when their behaviors. You can see it. You can feel it. You can tell it. And all I'm saying is to my own people.
But when we talk, talk about things he implements.
But that's what I'm gonna get to.
And you got to understand this. If he's implementing anything that affects this country in a negative way, it doesn't have to be a direct attack on Black people for Black people to suffer from whatever he's implementing. Because I promise you, we have to agree on this. If white people are suffering in this country, you damn sure don't even have to decide or figure out if Black people going to be suffering from it too.
Okay, can I say this? I don't pay attention to white America when they get aggrieved. You want to know why I don't pay attention? I don't pay attention to none of them people. I'm be honest. I don't pay attention to none of them people. Because these are the same fucking people that's in the street that were out there January 6th that didn't have shit to whine about. And just like them, didn't nothing happen to them. Ain't nothing gonna happen to these people. They're gonna go off and still dominate this country economically. And what I'm seeing is this. The media and everyone else is like this. But white supremacy argues both sides of the fence. I feel like we're on this side right now. In 4 years, we're gonna be back on the other side arguing the side. I'm just saying in the middle of it, I am preparing myself. I am prepared to get my own land as much as I can, to be able to travel as much as I can, to get my Second Amendment rights up as much as I can, because I am my own person who has to control what I do. This country is going to do what it wants. And I can't sit around waiting for them thinking that just because if I remove him, it's going to get better. It's not. There's a plan in place.
Listen, I think you misunderstand where my mindset is. I think that Trump needed to happen. I think Trump needed to happen because something different needed to happen, because you can't keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. And if you think that, because I don't believe it, it takes more than just seeing him burn the house from within, because you still got, if he's burning the house down and you still got Democrats out there standing out there talking some, oh Lord, what we gonna do? Oh Lord, instead of going and getting buckets of water to put the fire out. Everybody sees they're a weak individual. Just because they're weak and their policies are just demolishing the country, I guess what I'm trying to say is the mask is coming off. Mm-hmm. The mask is coming off.
No, I agree with that. I think we just think it in different ways. I agree.
Is to have someone like Trump doing the things that he is doing, because guess what? Yeah, they were okay when it was just happening to us. Now that shit is happening to them, they ain't got no other choice but to say we got to do something different. And hopefully, have you not noticed how black people are not? They said they are sitting this out as a collective.
Yeah, I'm with it. Yeah, I'm with it.
That is change. And
but
that
see, that's
Trump was not.
No, that ain't Trump though. That's not Trump. Why black folks are doing that? That's not my opinion, at least. My opinion why black folks are sitting out now is because this is what I believe happened. And I'm going to go back to my father. Dad was sitting back passed in 2008. For the audience listening, my father passed in 2008. When he passed, remember he was heavy into Obama. If you remember that, right? He was pretending like he wasn't, but he was paying attention. I remember this. I would go to the house and he was always there paying attention. What I've learned is this. But if he was still around today, he would see the real Obama for who he is because we have the internet and everything else that we did not have at the time. So what I honestly believe that is happening in the world today, and the reason why people are getting off of this train is because back in the day, legacy media was the only source of information that we had. And that legacy media is proven. When I say, I'm talking even black media. I'm talking Tom Joyner. I'm talking D.L. Hughley. I'm talking Ricky Smiley. I'm talking Roland Martin. I'm talking Joy Reid. All of these people are being exposed for being whatever white folks want them to be, they gonna be. And see, what you're getting is an counterproductive. We have a new guard out here now. Me and you right now, we're different. We're adding to why people are changing their mindset because they're hearing the alternative. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna shut up. Elijah Muhammad said one time, one of the only things I got out of this thing, I'm gonna tell you, he said one of the dopest things ever. He says, what's wrong with black America is we've only seen the dirty glass of water. And we drink that dirty glass of water like it's fine. You are not going to have a problem with that dirty glass of water until you see a clean glass of water. And then you're going to say, well, hey, this shit don't look that good. And I believe what you're seeing in today's world is black America has alternatives now to see that this shit is all a game. And I'm not playing it no more with you people. My compliance to this game is the reason why you shitting on me. If you're going to do all this stuff, you're going to have to do it without my support. And I believe that's what's happening. Just my opinion.
I think it plays a huge role, but you got to remember social media has been around for 3 presidential election cycles. And
social media really didn't take over the 20. But be honest, social media really didn't social media only really been a heavy in our lexicon maybe the last 13 to 15 years. If you go back to 2010, most people started their Facebook pages around 2009, 2010. And the reason why, and so I know that this is happening within
we're in 2025.
That's 15 years.
So I'm saying, I said about the last 3 about the last 3 or 4 election cycles.
Okay.
Now everybody deciding to sit it out.
I guess this is what I'm saying to you, and I'll drop it. What I'm saying to you is this: when it comes down to politics, is that 8 to 10% of this world is white people. They dominate the entire realm. And how do you do that? You have to do that not through force or physicalness as your number one tool. You have to control the minds. And the easiest way to control the human mind is to put it in a constant state of fear. And I know this to be true. And so what we live in this country, especially, is a constant state of fear. And my whole thing is, it's the Wizard of Oz effect. As long as I hit you with my big burly voice and make you believe I'm everything, I'm just a little motherfucker behind the curtain. And I think the curtain, like you said, is falling. And they're turning up how the pressure looks for people like yourself who said, no, this shit is crazy. No, we're getting smarter, so they're going to turn the pressure up. That's what I believe is happening.
Well, all I'm going to say is this, and I'm going to stand by it 10 toes down. This is not business as usual.
Okay, let me say, look, I want to say this on that. Let me put it to you this way. Okay.
You name to me. If you can name to me the last time that a person, how to put this? Let me put it. There was a man who committed no crime other than being of Venezuelan descent and having tattoos, who was a legal citizen of this country, who was scooped up because of his tattoos deemed a gang member and hauled off to a Venezuelan or as El Salvadorian prison camp.
Right.
And then once it's known, they say, "Oh, well, ain't nothing, he gone now. Ain't nothing we can do about it."
Right.
This is a legal citizen. They went into his home, scooped him up, and put him into a prison slave camp.
Okay.
And they did it, and ain't nobody blinked a freaking eye. If you can tell me that's not business as usual, no.
Well, I guess this is why you're not going to get me to get so irate about this. And the reason why that is because of this. So now I'm supposed to get outraged when we experience this on a daily basis. You're going to say we don't experience this deportation. This is stop and frisk. This is putting niggas in jail with no reason, making them sit there like Anthony Browder for 3 years and then just let him out after he's been raped and beaten and everything else. Sorry. So my point is, no one better than I then. So what I'm at is this. Everybody wants us to be up in arms now because everyone's being touched. When you care about me, and I'm going to take John Henrik Clarke's words when he said this, I will care about your 6 millions being attacked and put in gas chambers when you care about the 100 million of us that's at the bottom of the ocean. That's just how I feel.
You are taking what I'm saying in the wrong way. I did not say you need to be up in arms because A, B, C, and D is happening. I'm saying to you, you have to start looking at it as if not business as usual.
I don't understand. Let me say this to you. You know that that's called an outlier who he is. When those Venezuelan people are now getting scooped up to the point it's becoming a mass number, that's when it's going to happen. And I'm going to tell you what I mean when I say that. When a politician stands in front of us and wants to tell me about the old lady who worked at a diner that he talked to when he was on the road running for president, it's trying to humanize something. But my point is that when it happens to us on a global level, no one cares. And I get what you're saying. If it's getting to them now, it's going to really start affecting us. And I'm going to say like this. Maybe now that they're spreading around all of the debauchery, maybe now I'm not saying the debauchery. Maybe now you may get the allies that you're looking for because they feeling what you feeling. And what I'm saying is, but they're going to have to come over here and ally with us first. I'm not coming over there to talk to them just because I'm used to it. Is all I'm saying. Does that make sense?
You didn't get no argument with me on that. They practically begging black folks to,
and I'm not going to do it.
Join the cause.
Hold your own nuts is what I'm telling you to do right now. Welcome to the America that we deal with. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I don't think it's bad.
With the exception of the very wealthy, everybody niggas in America right now.
Well, you do realize this. And this is what, and I was going to say this to you. What white America doesn't understand is that you're not getting just oppressed now. You've always been oppressed, stupid. You've been used as a buffer between us and the 1%. And all they do is they always touch you. So what I'm saying to people is this. Okay, so maybe those people, instead of you thinking, see what white America has done, and they've been doing it for 150 to 200 years. As long as I'm better than niggas, it don't matter what they doing to me. And now what they're feeling is, it sounds like, I feel like they treating us like niggas. Well, welcome. Come on down here.
There was a woman, I don't remember what country she's from. And she had just got married. She traveled for her honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
She had not completed the process, but she was on the road to completing the process. She married a white man, a Trump.
Oh, you talking about becoming a citizen? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was on her way. Like the paperwork, they just waiting for the paperwork to be sealed, whatever. Anyway, so so she was doing it the legal way they claim they want you to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she ends up getting deported, and this is to your point. And her husband, in the same conversation, says, he still supports Trump.
Yeah, they still
And then ask people to contribute to his wife's GoFundMe for her representation to help get her back. And I'm like, and we know this to be evident that they would rather kick over the water bucket and not have anything to drink as long as you don't have to drink it too.
I agree.
If you got to drink, if you can drink, I got a problem with that. I'm kicking this whole water bottle over there. You ain't gonna have nothing. Not even considering or think, and that's mental illness.
Yeah, it is.
Anybody
It's
that thinks that way
cognitive dissonance. It's a whole bunch of, and you know, I'm gonna tell you that this is why, and I'm gonna shut up about it because I know I'll be long-winded on this politics. But I'm gonna tell you why I act the way that I do when it comes to it. I act this way is because, like classic example now, I've heard Jasmine Crockett, Roland Martin, Joy Reid was heavy on it at the time. CNN does it a lot. They want to keep talking to black. These will be spaces that their audience they know is black, and they want to keep talking about immigration. Nigga, you're failing because you're talking about stuff that's not our issue. Is it unfortunate to hear about a person who's just sitting in his house and somebody came in and took him out? That is so unfortunate, and it lets you know how fucked up this country can be at times. But what I am also saying too is that I'm not going to get out of my pocket and be making this a priority for me just because CNN wants to make it important. Because that ain't what's important to me. When I hear Joy Reid prioritize reparations for black people or a crime bill that's specific for us that they're going to actually enforce, then I will pay attention to you. But you're not going to have me regurgitating white supremacist talking points just because that's what's affecting them. We have always been affected differently. You're going to have to address me where we're at. And I don't think none of these people in politics ever do that. That's why we're losing. That's why you don't have the people anymore.
We don't disagree. I just know I have enough empathy for everybody who's suffering.
I feel bad for it, but I can't jump out the window.
I ain't gonna lie. I do struggle with the ones who knew how it was going to adversely affect me, and didn't give a shit.
Didn't care.
And then until it was there. But the people who is affecting that didn't have that mindset, I can if they don't look like me, I can still have empathy for them.
Hey, empathy and sympathy I feel it, but my issue with it is this. This is why I employ people, and that's the last thing I'm gonna say about it. I employ people to dive into real Black American history. Because when you understand real history, you understand that people will always use us when they need us. And then we'll think that we have progress. And in actuality, as soon as they're done with needing us, they say, get your black ass back underneath me. And so what I'm saying to people is that I'm just like the person who was in a bad relationship that had low self-esteem, that now I'm starting to feel myself. Now I'm starting to understand my importance. Your ass is going to have to come correct if you're going to step over here talking to me about you need some help. This is all it is to it. And I just need for everyone in my own culture to say, have the sympathy, have the empathy, sit in your house and say it's unfortunate it happened to them. But that same man that happened to is probably one, and I'm not saying him, but that same man could potentially be another motherfucker in the street telling, I want your black ass removed. So I'm not going to sit there and jump out the window for you. Can't do it. Not going to do it. You can kiss my ass.
We're not, and I've never stated, I guess you're just stating that, because I never said.
No. That was my statement. And the only thing I was going to say to you, and the only thing I wanted to say to you about it too, is just that I know you think that I give the Democrats, and I do, but let me say this again. I want to beat this drum. I give them more static because 60-something years ago, they told you, hey, we are the party for you, and we're going to look out for you against the big bad Republicans who are the only racists in this world. That's how they act. And when they say that, I'm going to say now, it is your responsibility to do your part. The Republicans told us what they thought. So what I'm saying to you is you can't have it both ways. You can't give me lip service, and then when the shit fail, yeah, I know, but they over there, they don't love you either. You don't like me, and you lied to me. I don't like that. I like people who tell me the truth. That's what I'm saying.
I hear you. I
It
get
is.
it.
I digress. I ain't gonna hold you up. I know, like I said, it was a full day. You're good though. How's everything other than that? You feeling well? Do you need me to call you back later?
Yeah, we can talk later.
All right, I'll call you back later and give you some of the points I was talking about too. Because and matter of fact, I'm gonna call you in a few because I really want to tell you about what you're doing now. I want to give you a pointer to make you get to your end goal.
Okay.
All right, I hit you for. All
Work.
right, peace.
All
All right, let's get Miss Lovey off the screen. Take a hot second.
We've got old school.
Old school.
And we've got new school.
Always plays the new music first right here.
It's 300 Radio.
All right. So what we're gonna do is now we're gonna close out the show. Let me see what we got going. We're gonna close out the show today. Sorry, I'm burping and shit all in the thing. But good conversation with her. I honestly wanted to talk more of a lighter subject. I saw the Damon Wayans interview and I wanted to go that route, but politics is just really big right now in the world. And let me see if I can kind of touch on something that I wanted to say to her and then I'll close out the show. It is not that I am a Republican. I do not love Republicans. I didn't vote Republican. I'm going to be honest with you. I did not vote at all. Now, I know that they have told us over years, if you don't vote, you can't say nothing about it. You know what gives me a say-so even though I didn't vote? Because I pay taxes. I pay taxes every year. I know that those same people that tell me that I need to vote, I will then vote for the very people they tell me to vote for. They'll get their man, even though indirectly, me not voting, you still got the person you wanted, i.e. Barack Obama, i.e. Joe Biden, and all these other people. You get who you want, but yet and still we don't move an inch. Now tell me if that's a game or not. And something that she said that I totally disagree with. These people have not gone rogue. MAGA isn't going rogue against the country. And the reason why I know that is because the country put in fail-safes for people that would go rogue. They made it to where Congress and Senate and all these other people can change the House of Representatives. They can change laws instantly. Classic example. State of California in the 1960s, you could open carry into government places in the 1960s. That means I could get an AR-15, walk right into a courthouse and have my gun. Nobody say a thing to me in the 1960s. That changed literally over the weekend because black people from the Black Panther Party went up in the courthouse with some guns. They changed the law in the book that fast. So that lets me know when they want to change something, they can. So if your president is running rogue, they would remove him. The reason why I know this to be true, that they could do this too if they wanted to. Joe Biden. How many times did Joe Biden promise he was going to kill student loan debt? Then yet and still he'll put it on the books and then a judge will come behind him and remove something that he did. A judge will come behind him and stop this. Well, you know, no judges are stopping any of the MAGA stuff. He's doing whatever he wants. So my conjecture back to Ms. Lovey and to anyone else that says that now the Republican Party is going rogue and we can't do anything to stop it, I would say why the Democrats have never done that. Barack Obama, which to people, some black folks, they still love this man. This man, in his first term, in his first half of his first year of his presidency, he had all of them. He had the House, he had Congress, he had the presidency, he had all of it. That was the time that if he needed to do something specifically for Black America, he could have got it done. He chose not to. So, but I'm going to tell you, put me in that position. I'm a person who understands, even though there are other people in this country other than Black America, so I would not shit on those people. My job is to create an environment as a politician to where everyone feels safe and they feel like they are winning or have an opportunity to win. That's not what we get with our politicians. Our politicians are put in place to make sure that this person or that person wins and this person loses and that person loses. That's what they're here to do. And they love to pick people who look just like you to do that to you because you'll think they're doing it with your best interest at heart when they don't. So moving forward, I like for people to understand when it comes to politics, this is how it works. If you want a small group of people to run the world, they have to make everyone believe that what they're doing has to be done. Matter of fact, I'll just leave it right there. What you're seeing that is happening now has been planned. It's going to continue to work their plan. And the only way we're going to get a different outcome than what is already being planned is we're going to have to push back on it. And best believe this country has about 1,000 think tanks that is right now, at this very moment, trying to counter what I'm saying. It's thinking of a way to get around what I'm saying to make sure you still lose in the end. I'm telling you, it's our job to continue to keep pushing until we figure out how to beat this beast that's over top of us. Now, with that being said, I digress. I'll see you guys on the next one. Scott Free Morning Show, I'm out.
Whoa. Before you leave this podcast and go somewhere else, did you hit the notification bell? Because if you didn't, please do so now. And I'm talking to the people who've already subscribed. But if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that as well. Hit the like button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.